still waiting. We're still waiting for a couple of people to join us, and then we will begin. Good day, everyone, and welcome to the School of Africa's Women's Day celebration part 2. I am Khomotso Mokhudi, your host for this afternoon, and today we will be having our guest speakers who will be sharing their experiences and strategies, all in efforts to encourage, empower, and equip women for the journey. Thank you so much for joining. Moving right along, in a short summary, I would like to share just a little bit about who we are. The School of Empowerment Africa is a nonprofit organization based in South Africa. It was established principally for community economic empowerment and foundation. Our mission is seeking to empower, inspire a nation one person at a time by providing a platform where they can access self-development training, economic and social development opportunities. We also provide creative spaces where individuals are able to express themselves at a local and global scale in order to enable them to represent their interests in a responsible, self-determined way, acting on their own authority. The activities of the organization are carried out in a nonprofit manner with an altruistic and philanthropic intent without any direct benefit accruing to any of its directors, employees, officers, or agents otherwise than stated herein. All public benefit activities carried out by our PBO are widely accessible to the general public at large, including any sector thereof, other than small and exclusive groups. Thank you so much. With now we will just wait just for a few minutes until just maybe 2 or 3 people join us, and then our guest speakers will then begin with their speech. Without furthermore wasting time, we will begin with the agenda for today, and we'll open the floor to our guest speakers. Help me welcome our first speaker for today, Elder Vimbinashi Hari, who is a social entrepreneur, speaker, counselor, advisor, as well as a mother. She will be sharing a discussion titled Rediscovering Yourself, My Eczema and Allergies Journey. V, the floor is yours. Please unmute your mic, V.
Okay, hi everyone, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, we can hear
Okay,
you.
thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Elda Vimbainashe, as Komoto said. Vimbainashe Tatinda Kahari, former Gavaza. Um, as we are in the month of women, I just wanted to encourage someone with my story. Um, I grew up with a very bad case of eczema. I think you can still see some of the telltale signs now. But I just want to say the journey was hard. The journey was painful, and I went through a lot. As I was growing up, it was easier when I was a child, but as you become a teen, it became harder because I had to deal with how my appearances as well as adolescence issues as well. But I think uh, as we are celebrating women, I would like to celebrate myself as well because I've seen that I'm a very, very strong woman because of that. Um, Having eczema closed a lot of doors for me, if I can put it that way. It caused some really, I remember I lost jobs because of this skin. I've lost friends. I've also I've also lost times even on education. Was there was a time when I couldn't write my exams because of my skin. Not that I didn't want to write, but because it was so bad that I couldn't go to the examination rooms after studying and paying for school for the examinations. So I got to a point where I even got depressed. I even it really got to me that um, I almost gave I was I thought I would give up on life because at times there were times when I would wake up and ask God, why are you making me wake up today? But now I know the reason because the he has got a better purpose for me, he has got a bigger purpose for me. So now one thing you need to know about eczema is one, it's not contagious, which is one of the worst what people don't know. Most people think that when they see you, the first thing they think is, "Oh my God, she's got a rash. She's going to come on me." So they tend to shun away from you. But it's actually a thing that we need to teach the society. And number two, eczema is not associated with HIV, guys. When you see someone with clean skin, it doesn't necessarily mean that they've got HIV or that is something crazy. Because I've gone to so many doctor's appointments with my babies, whereby they are always asking me, "Have you had your HIV tested?" So each time I have to go to the hospital for my baby's clinic appointments, I end up having to be tested for HIV because they are thinking that maybe it is not HIV. It is not connected to HIV. It's a it's an disease on its own. It's an allergy, and unfortunately for me, I seem to have all the allergies connected with this because I've got the eczema, I've got the hay fever, and I've got the asthma, and the bad eyes, and etc. You think of it, other allergies, I've got it. But another misconception that people have is someone has been bewitched. Unfortunately, in our African society, if people can't, if people don't understand something, they already think that it's spiritually connected. Pane akaroya mwana, pane things like that. So sorry, I went vernacular. They think that somebody has bewitched the child, something like that. So as I was growing up, I actually went through a journey where they thought that it was bewitchment, which meant that I ended up going through a very, very traumatic experience with these spiritual healers and all that, because they'll be having their own versions, and yet the condition is uh, purely medical. It just needs you to go to the doctors and they have the doctors help treat you. And I think as my family, they only got to understand that later when they tried everything. Because that's the thing with also having an ailment that people don't understand. They want to try everything. But I would like to say that I thank God that I had a good support system. I had my family, I had my church. I also had those were my two main support systems, which were there for me as I was growing up. as I said earlier, primary school was a breeze because primary school children, if I can say, people say they're innocent, they don't have much of a problem. But as I was going to high school was a different platform altogether, because now I was going to a totally different place, and it was harder because now it meant that new environment, new everything. I remember I took a toll. I was almost expelled from school because of this eczema, because I was sort of failing to do my assignments, especially because you'd go to school in the morning but come back, your skin is flared, you are itchy. So the first thing you want to do when you get home is to calm down. You need to get into a bath, you need to take your medication. And unfortunately, the eczema medication makes you drowsy. So you tend to be very drowsy, so you end up sleeping. At least now they've got variants where you can take an allergy suppressant which is not drowsy. But back then, it would mean that I would have to sleep it off and then wake up feeling better. So at times it would mean that I would miss up on certain things. So it got me in trouble at school. I was almost expelled, but I didn't get, thank God I didn't get expelled. Then I managed to write my ordinary levels. That time we were still writing with Cambridge. And I thank God that I passed, even though I couldn't study. I remember
Okay,
never
I
studied
think we've lost V. Maybe just try and wait for probably 1 minute. Proceed thereof. Okay, there she is.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. We couldn't hear you. You lost us just a little bit, but
Okay.
I think we can carry on.
Okay, no, that's fine. So I just want to say, we having gone through all that, I managed to pass my O levels, which was something that was an amazement for me, even though. But I want to thank God that, yes, I've got a sad and painful history, but I believe that I've got a brighter future. Why? Because I've decided to rise above the eczema, even though I still have it, because I've got one of the rare types which starts as a baby and it goes on with you into your adulthood. I've learned I've learned that I'm stronger than I think at times, because the pain that I've gone through at times, most it's a bit hectic. Because there are times when I felt like I'm being bent. There are times when I felt like my skin I want to jump out of my skin. But I've had a good support system. I've also gained some friends throughout the journey of experiencing this, because I've lost friends, I've lost job opportunities, as I said, because at times it's not, I don't blame them. I don't blame the people, because if you don't understand something and you don't take time to understand, you are quick to judge. But I believe that if I'd been given a better chance in some of the things that I lost, it would have been better. So now I think I want to have an eczema awareness campaign, if I can put it that way, where people need to understand that even if someone has got eczema, they can actually still perform better than those people who are able-bodied. At times, also, eczema might not be looked at as a disability, but the thing is, like for me, it affects my whole skin, and the skin is the biggest organ on anybody's body. So in a way, it's a disability, but um, you need to you find a way to work around it. And people with eczema also can do so much more. I think I've met some people who say they've got eczema, but uh, one thing I would like to share is it's an individualistic disease. The way it affects me will not necessarily be the way to affect Kumoto or Mercy, even though we all have eczema. And some people develop eczema later in life, unlike some of us who had it from birth. But in essence, I want to say, if I could pull through this, if anyone out there is listening to me right now and you think that life is hard, we right now we are going through COVID, but you've got a beautiful skin, you've got hands, you can do what you want, you can do anything. Because even me, with my cracked skin, with all the doctor's appointment that I need to go to, having to look after 4 babies now and the household, and now I'm now a social entrepreneur as well. If I can do that, Anyone can do it out there. And as a woman, at times, our skin is what makes us who we are. You need to look pretty, you need to look beautiful. So when you wake up, look, and you go to the mirror and you see yourself looking like something that is not pretty, it does have a toll on your self-esteem. But I think Mercy is smiling because she knows I'm one of those people who has got self-esteem, whether you see me looking gray or looking khaki, because at times my skin does change color because of the eczema. But I've learned to embrace it. So if I'm looking gray, I just wear gray. If I'm looking brown, I just wear brown to camouflage it and still smile. And women out there, even if you whatever you're going through, right now we have got the COVID. Um, we the good thing is you can look for opportunities where they are. If you don't have anything that makes you get bedridden, you can do it. If I can do it, I'm sure anybody out there can do. Even some people will say, "So we are crippled. We are out," because at times we also have albinos and stuff. We can do it. Your skin doesn't define you. That's one thing I learned. Yes, my skin is there, it's part of me, but it doesn't define me. Vibai Nasha is a strong woman. Vibai Nasha is someone who right now I'm now a church leader. Imagine from being that person that people used to feel sorry for. I am now leading people. I even counsel people. It's funny when people come to me saying, "Mommy, we are not feeling well," and I'm like, "Guys, you just have a chest issue. Look at me." But people come to me and I have to pray for them. And God is working through me. So one thing I want to also tell people is you let God work through you no matter how you look. God doesn't choose you because you've got a smooth skin, or you don't scratch or something like that. God chooses you because he knows you better than anybody else. So I believe that God yes chose me for me, and right now this is just the beginning. I know that I'm going to get that doctorate that I've always envisioned myself getting, because I know I'm intelligent. Ruby smiling. I know I'm intelligent. So very soon, you, Dr. Mtendere, I'm coming for you. Dr. Mtendere, Dr. Kari on the side. Um, because I've actually decided to go back to school. All those exams that I couldn't write because of my eczema, I've told myself that, you know what, eczema, you can't keep me down anymore. I'm now a better person. So I'm going to stand up and go for my dreams. Even if I graduated 50, I'm still going to become a doctor. Because no matter what life has thrown at me, I've now decided to take those rocks and start building something for myself. So those who didn't hear the whole story, I'm going to be starting my own page and my own blog on what eczema has done for me and done to me, and how to fight it, and maybe in more detail. But what I can say is, as a woman, eczema yes, it defined me. I'm married to a very loving husband. I've got 4 beautiful babies. I've got a good support system. And even those friends I lost, I'm now starting to get new friends because of sharing my story now. Because yes, Mercy are now my number 1 fan and friend. Yes. um, so it's one of those things where at times you think you have lost, but when God has got a purpose for you, you keep going. So no matter what life is throwing at you guys, uh, you build from what life has thrown at you. I've built from what I've learned, and and even the relationships that I lost, some of them, it was good that I lost them, and some of them I'm regaining them back, because I've now learned to embrace myself and to become the beautiful woman that I am. And you know what? Especially without makeup, I am pretty. Me, beautiful person. This one, amen. And I know that. So whatever the society tells you, don't listen to them if it's negative. Just take the positive and build from that, and we can make it better as we are empowering and encouraging each other as women. Thank you so much, Komoto, for your time. I can go on this topic, but thank you so much. I'll give the time to you.
Oh, thank you so much, V. That was very insightful. And it goes back to the fact that women need to be comfortable in their own skin, which really makes us wonder really, who gets to decide what is good and what is bad. And if you have this type of skin, then you're not pretty enough. If you have this type of hair, then it's not good enough, which are one of the things that we have to continue building on and making sure that we link them with our self-esteem all the time, and we overpower those kind of negative thoughts and narratives that are all over the world, and we build our own, which is very, very interesting actually. Women need to focus more on being who they really are and comfortable in their own skin. Very easy. You can do that. Thank you so much for that. And moving right along, we will be going to our next speaker, who is Rumbidzia. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's Rumbidzia Mutendera, a psychology graduate, a lay preacher, founder at Heart to Heart Sanctuary, co-founder at Uplift a Sister, as well as a blogger. A warm welcome to you, Rumbi. The floor is yours.
Hey, I'm so glad you could not pronounce my name, because now I don't feel so much pressured to pronounce yours. So I'm just gonna call you AK, if that's okay, because I don't want to mess it up. Anyway, hi everyone. Like Kay said, let me try Kumuta, right? Like Kumuta said, my name is Rumbidzai, and yeah, she said everything there is to know about me. But today I'm just here to share to a woman out there who feels like life has happened to them and probably life has ended. All they knew in life, it has just been taken away from them. So my story, the one that I'm here to share today, is about finding myself again after divorce. It's funny enough that we should say that I found myself again. Actually, I don't think I ever knew who I was before divorce happened, because this is something that I'm so glad to be sharing on this platform, because I understand that School of Development School of Empowerment is all about empowering people and letting them know what they are really all about and give them power. So I'm really glad that I get to speak here, that we actually need to empower people more on their purpose in life and more on their individual journeys. Because with me, all I thought I had in life was that I was a mom, I was a wife, and that's all I had. And when that was taken away from me, I didn't know where to start. I could not find myself. So I had to sit down and really start from zero, because for me, it was a complete life then. As long as I'm married, as long as I'm a missus, then my life is complete. Nothing else mattered. But then I got to a point when divorce happened. Actually, I got married very early, which is a story for another day, but I do encourage those that are still not married, take your time. Everything that you can ever do in marriage, it gets done in the first 2 or 3 years. So please take your time, do you, find yourself, be happy. So I got married at 22, and I got divorced at 30. So that was 8 years of marriage. And for me, I was now in a life that I was comfortable with. I was already planning my life as a missus. Everything was just around me being a married woman. And now that I get a chance to look back, I see that it's what society had taught me, that it's the most important thing in a woman's life to get married. If you're married, you're sorted. Because I had seen how much a divorced woman or a single woman who is maybe in her late 20s or 30s is looked down upon. So that wasn't an option for me. I had to be married. So I got married at the first chance that I got, which was at 22. I look back, yeah, I've got 2 babies out of it, beautiful kids, but given another chance, I'll probably wait. So today, the first thing that I just want to put out there for everyone, for every divorced woman out there is no shame in divorce. It happens. Life happens to everyone. It might be divorce for me. It might be a miscarriage for the next person. It might be just having a baby out of a wedlock. Because also I find that for some people, they did not get married, but somehow they got pregnant and they decided not to marry that person for whatever reason. And society has kind of put a stamp on you that you are a single mom, you are, in my culture, they call you Mvana even. So they make you feel less of a woman among other women. And I'm here today, living proof that it doesn't matter what you've been through. You have the power in you to start over again. It is your life after all. You can decide today that, you know what, I don't like how things are going. I'm going to start again. So what happened to me is got divorced at 30. It was painful, yes. I don't want to lie and take that out because like I said, that's all I knew for the past 8 years that I'd lived with this guy. When I turned 31, I went back to school. I went back to varsity and I started my psychology degree. Part of the reason why I started that, and I really want to emphasize this for everyone here and whoever is going to watch this later, we really need to empower our children or our sisters, because I think part of my reason of going back to school is because I could look back and remember my mother's words. She would always tell me that I'm intelligent. She would emphasize it day in and day out. My daughter, you are intelligent. My daughter, you are beautiful. My sisters would remind me that, do you remember when you were in high school, you used to be top of your class? Do you remember in primary school, you used to be top of your class? So we need to normalize telling our sisters, our children, those comments, because when life happens to them, they're going to have somewhere to fall back on. They will remember things about themselves that the society is not going to remind them. The society will just look at you and see a damaged person, a rejected person. So I decided that, you know what, let me tap back into that intelligent part of me that I was always being taught about. And I went back to varsity. Good things happened, realized I was still intelligent again, thank God. And in the midst of it all, I was like, okay, so this way that I'm feeling, I feel like people are drawing away from me. They're drifting away from me because I'm a divorced woman now. I was fortunate enough to still have a few people who stuck around. And I started thinking about the other women who might not have people who will stick around for them. They might not even want to voice out that they're divorced. I know this how I walked through those phases of my life. There is a phase where I did not want to admit that I was divorced. I would tell whoever would ask me, where is the father of your kids? I would openly say he's dead. I chose to be seen as a widow other than a divorcee because society has some type of tag they put on divorced women, like there's a problem with me, like I'm damaged somehow. So I would rather have people feel sorry for me. As a widow, obviously they're going to sympathize and all that, but I knew I was lying to myself and there was no way I was going to be able to help the next person if I was not being honest to myself. So I started blogging. You can check out the blog, it's called Heart to Heart Sanctuary. Every part of my journey. And my desire was that someone somewhere out there would read my story. And if also they're feeling the same way that I am feeling, they could reach out and we would talk. Because I realized that as women, mostly, I cannot speak for men. I'm yet to know them more in those departments, but we need each other. We need a support system. And sometimes we tend to look for support in familiar places and we don't get it there. But now we thank God for technology. We have support systems everywhere. This is one of the platforms where you can reach out and say, you know what, guys, I'm going through this and that. Like V shared earlier, there might be a woman out there with eczema and nobody else understands her. But because of this platform, you can now go and reach out and say, how did you get through this? How did you do that? So I started doing that. I started sharing my story. For me, it was more like, I just want it out there. I need to desensitize this whole divorce thing. It happens, so what? It did not change me. I'm still the same Rumbidzai that my mother gave birth to. I'm still the same Rumbidzai that God created in this world. So I had to shift my goals, which is something that I'm encouraging women, especially in this Women's Month. If you're not okay with where you are, it's never too late to start again. You can shift your goals. You have the power to direct your life whichever way you want. I'm so glad that also Vimbai say that she's going back to school. That's a decision that you get to make on your own. You need to decide for yourself, you know what, this is what I've always wanted to be. I remember I was speaking to someone and they said sometimes people wonder, like when they find themselves in the midst of, chaos and they don't know where they are in life, and you wonder what is really supposed to become of this life. I always say, sit back, imagine yourself when you were 8 years old, and when people used to ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? We always had an answer for that. I remember I told everyone that I wanted to be a lawyer, and my father had this old briefcase, the ones, the old school ones. I would carry that one around the house, and I would just be going around saying, objection, your honor, objection, your honor. I mean, that's all the English I knew then. But if you have someone, I knew then, when you look back, you realize that, you know what, I've always been a confident person. If I'm invited to speak on School of Empowerment, I can do that because there is confidence in me. Sometimes you really need to shut out every other voice out there and look inside you. What is it about me? Can I sing? Yes, I can sing. Then I should be there out there singing. I can speak. I need to be on platforms where I can speak. So I really feel like when everything else is not making sense, when the life that you thought was ordinary, or the life that you thought was normal, and also there is nothing called normal. We are all unique in our different ways. So we should not chase life after how somebody has lived theirs. So get back into yourself, look back inside and decide, even if it doesn't work out, it's okay. We have this gift of starting over and over again. You can wake up and try something today. If it doesn't work out, it's fine. Try another thing tomorrow until you find something that brings you happiness. And as women, I don't know how we can get this across to each and every woman out there. We are fighters. I know this because have you seen how we are so protective of each other? Our children, our sisters, even our friends. There is a fighter in us. Sometimes your friend will get dissed somewhere else, someone will speak ill of your friend, and you already roll up your sleeves, you're ready to fight. That should just tell you that there is a fighter in you. So if you can fight for your friend, why are you not fighting for yourself? Why are you not fighting for your dreams? Everyone has a dream. There is no one who doesn't have a dream. You just need to fight for it. And when you start fighting for your dream, you will find out that you will get connected to people who can help you. Because again, we don't live on an island. We need each other. And as I said earlier, in this era of technology, help is everywhere. Blogs, YouTube influencers, counselors, free counselors, church counselors, they are available everywhere. So we just need to look for help. And I also want to just say that, please, we need to just change our mindsets on relationships. Relationships don't define us. We are not our marital status. Because I feel like the problem starts with us as women. Because with men, it's just Mr. Whether he's 10, he's 12, he's 15, he's 70, he's still a Mr. It's this now, us, the females, that now wants to differentiate each other because this one is a Miss, this one is an MS, this one is a Mrs. And we start treating each other differently. If we are actually going to be honest about everything, have you seen that in your community, you yourself, you have actually at some point treated some lady differently because of their marital status? You might have chosen not to listen to somebody else's advice because she's not married. She can't tell me how to go about ABCD. What does she know? Listen to her telling me how, like now I'm a counselor, right? Imagine me giving counseling to a couple. If someone is not full of wisdom, they'll be like, why would she tell me about marriage? Hers failed, but they don't even know why mine failed. So I think it starts with us women. The moment we stop ill-treating each other, the men will follow. If I can empower my sister, if I can uplift my sister, which is also another organization that I co-founded with my friends, because we believe in uplifting each other. We also need to stop saying it. We need to start doing something about it. If you say you're going to uplift your sister, do something about it. It doesn't have to be big. Be there for her. If like now, sorry, Vimba, you're going to be my example the whole time because you spoke before me. If you say you are going to empower Vimbai and you know that the society has been discriminating her, you as a woman, go and stand by her. Even if you don't understand the logistics of eczema and how it works, go to her and ask her, so dear, if I do this and that, is it contagious? I want to come and hang out with you. Is it contagious? No, it's not. Because we as a society, we just push away things we don't understand. And I believe I'm a very powerful woman. And I believe that that's how women were created. Each and every one of us, we are powerful in our different ways. And we really need to put it out there. Because if we don't, we're gonna let life happen to us. We can change the world. I like this song. I think it's by Beyonce, if I'm not mistaken. Who runs the world? I think girls run the world, right? That's us. We get to define the world. We get to define how men treat us, not just men, even other people in the society. Because if I'm gonna wallow in this pit that, you know what, I'm just a divorced woman, that's not who I am. I am Rumbi Zai. I'm Rumbi Zai, a psychology graduate. I'm Rumbi Zai, a counselor. I'm going to be Rumbi Zai, a preacher. Who knows where God is taking me? Yes, Bimbai said, Dr. Rumbi Zai, that's part of where I want to be. I am a doctor. So my marital status should be the last thing on my list. Know me for who I am. But then again, it starts with you as a woman, knowing who you are first before the community decides for you. Because sometimes you go with what the community says because you don't know who you are. You don't know how much power you have within you. So please know yourself, brace yourself. You are so powerful. You are beautiful. Let me tell you this. Doesn't matter. I've got spots, yeah, quite a few that I was, I felt insecure about when I was growing up, but I embraced that. I said, you know what? Yes, it's me. Which one, Rumbi? Rumbi with the spots, that's me. But there's more to me than my spots. I'm also Rumbi who can do this. I'm Rumbi who can do that. So don't let your life circumstances define you. There is more to us women. We can literally take over the world and everything else if we put our hearts into it. So please, ladies and men, yes, we love you. It's just that this is our month. That's why we're going on and on about us. Stay true to yourself. Reach out. I, for one, I'm here to help. You're going through divorce, you're going through, depression, you're a single mom and you don't know where to start from, because I have been there. And I need us to maybe try to look at the reasons why God allows us to go through some situations. Because now if a person comes to me and tells me that, Rumbi, I cannot feed my children, I can relate to that, because there was a time where I did not know where my next meal would come from. If somebody comes to me and say, I'm thinking of going back to varsity, where should I start from? I can help, because I started also at 31, not even straight after high school, whatever. I chose to go back. So please don't just sit back and say, my life is finished. I'm 30, I'm 25, I'm 40. I don't know where to start from. We are here to help. So reach out. School of Empowerment can give you my details if you need help directly from me, or even if you need help from School of Empowerment, because I know that's what they are about. And I believe in working together. In my language, we say, Chara chimwe achiskwanye inda. In English, it translates to one finger can't crush lies. You need several to crush those lies. So we are here. We're going to do it together. It doesn't matter which organization one is from. The goal is to empower each other. And in this month, we are favoring women. So we're doing it for you, ladies. Thank you so much. Yes, we are stronger together. Thank you so much. Yeah, that will be all from me, Khumotso.
Thank you so much, Rumbi. That was very insightful. And I'm seeing a lot of women were being pumped up as you were speaking. I believe you were reaching out directly to their hearts and they were resonating with what you were saying, and also thinking about the narratives, the notions that are going on in our societies, how women are defined, how women are supposed to upheld themselves in terms of things that are not necessarily what defines them or what they can do or how precious they are. I mean, people will overlook a heart, how beautiful a heart your heart is, and would just want to see someone very beautiful, someone that would look like a doll of some sort, instead of looking right deep into who you really are and what you bring to the table and how you assist people and the support that you give to women that need it, and would just brush it off with whatever one thing that they seemingly think is the biggest, plays the biggest
Mercy, you are muted.
Hi, Kumuto, are you there now? Yeah, just to conclude on what Kumuto was saying, you cannot be defined by your outside appearance. Like she said, you can never look like a doll. We actually look for the inner part. Who is Rumbuzai? Who is V? Who is Kumuto? By her heart, not her outside appearance. So moving on to the next speaker, we have got Hafsa. Hafsa, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, over to you. Kumuto just got a hitch now, but she will be back with us. So over to you, Hafsa, all the best. Thank you so much for your first session we had. This is the second session. You're more than welcome. Please take the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mercy. Hi, ladies. It's awesome to be here, and also for all of you who've spoken. Rumbi, I absolutely enjoyed your talk. It was amazing. Let me give you some background. I'm an attorney by profession, and I'm also a community activist. And when I say that, my passion lies in serving the community. So despite the legal side of it, I also sit on various boards, on various nonprofit organizations. And one of the things that I deal with extensively is wills and the drafting of estate or the administration of estates. But for today, what I'd like to empower you with is the skills on drafting of a will. You know, very often as women, we sell ourselves short and we think that it's only for a man to do this kind of thing. But as a woman, and I'm sure that you are all women who own something, you should have a will. It's very important, because if you don't have a will, you are going to if you will die intestate, which means that beneficiaries will inherit. Even if it's an illegitimate child, they will inherit and worse still, if you have minor children, what's going to happen is that their estate, their share of the estate will actually be managed by the guardian's fund, and you don't want that to happen. So please make a concerted effort after this to have a will in place. Let me tell you what's required for you to have a valid will. A valid will requires for you to have it in writing. It has to be in writing. Even with modern technology and with being able to record stuff and to video things, it's important for it to be in writing. So it has to be written down or typed or whatever. But when I say in writing, it must be on a piece of paper. The person who's writing the will, if it's handwritten, can't be a person who inherits in terms of the will. Just to give you some jargon pertaining to wills, the testator is the person who's writing out, it's their will. They are deposing to this will, and it's for their assets. Then the beneficiaries are the people who are going to inherit in terms of the will. The executor is the person who's going to manage the will for you, who's going to manage your estate after you die. Okay, so rule number one, it has to be written down. It has to be reduced to paper. Rule number two, that it has to be signed on every single page. So every page must be signed by the testator, and it must be witnessed by two people. So the witnesses have to witness it simultaneously. It can't be signed and then subsequently witnessed. So it must be at the same time. Some people say, oh, I just did it in a hurry. It doesn't work like that. It has to be that these two people witnessed you as the testator signing your will. Then if a person can't sign, they'll do a thumbprint, but a thumbprint has to be commissioned by a commissioner of oaths. So witnesses can't certify that the thumbprint is that of the testator. It has to be a commissioner of oaths, whereas a witness can be any ordinary person. Though there's a qualification, a will can only be drawn up by a person who's 16 years and older. So a minor child can't draw up a will. And a witness to a will can't be younger than 14 years old. So any person who's 14 and older can witness a will, okay? So remember this, it has to be in writing, it has to be witnessed, it has to be signed on every page. The witness has to be older than 14 years old, and the person who's doing the will must be older than 16 years old. Then another important thing is that it has to, when people address the will, they think that they need to address it to itemize every single item. It's not necessary. What you can do, and this is what I advise, is that you should actually have an addendum to your will. So your will must specify who you want to give your property to, who you want must inherit from you. So it has to name the beneficiaries. It's preferred for you to give their full names, and if you have an address, also an address. So even if it's somebody who's not a direct descendant or ascendant or family member, and maybe somebody else that you want to give a share in, it's preferable that you put their full name and their address. Another important thing is for you to mention exactly what you want to allocate to who, or what percentage you'd like for them to have. You know, very often people think that they can dictate from the grave. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Don't say this person mustn't do this, or then they'll inherit, or this person must only do this. And you've gone. You've had your time. Let them enjoy your assets like freely and do what they want with it. You can, of course, secure your assets where it is minor children, so that you have a guardian, you appoint somebody that will take care of their investments or their interests. But don't, for instance, I'm just giving you an example, say that there is a house in Centurion, and tomorrow that house in Centurion is overtaken by vagrants. Now you've left that and you said that is a family heirloom and it's not supposed to be sold. What does your beneficiary do with something like that? You're leaving them with an asset which is useless. They can't now sell it. They can't do anything with it, and they're incurring the cost of rates and all of that, whereas it's been invaded by vagrants. So try not to do that in your will. I would recommend that you have a will wherein you stipulate who the executor is. It has to be somebody who's trustworthy. A person who's a beneficiary in the will cannot write your will, and it's preferable that the person who's benefiting in your will shouldn't be the executor. Excuse me. Rather have somebody who's independent and trustworthy. Be cautious about the banks and about insurance companies that do this for you, because they take huge fees from your estate. In terms of your assets, what you should do is you should have an addendum to the will wherein you state what your assets are. So you can mention, and it's very important to do this, because very often in practice, I find that there may be policies that the beneficiaries are not aware of. And then after I finalize the file, 6 years, 7 years later, the insurance company presents them with something and says, oh, there was this policy. And now we have to reopen the file and go through all of it at the master's office. And that becomes quite a tiresome exercise. Another, so I said, prepare an addendum which will attach. An addendum which you will attach to your will. So you can stipulate all your assets, your bank accounts, your shares, your jewelry, and whatever other assets you own. So that the day you die, your family, your beneficiaries don't go running around looking for things. And a very important thing is for you to mention your creditors and your debtors, because there are many opportunists out there. What they'll do is the minute they know you've died, they will come to your family and say, oh, your mom owed me so much. She bought this from me, I delivered it. And it's a reality. So please make sure you mention it. So your family, you don't leave them vulnerable. Make sure that you have all of that in order. What is very important is for you to make copies of your will. Leave it with a trustworthy friend, a family member, and make sure that the original is safe. Usually when we report an estate, we have to submit the original will. So the original will needs to be with somebody who we know we can access. Very often what I do is in the will itself, I will say the original is with my attorney or the original is with whoever. Excuse me, I don't know why this is happening to me. But so mention everything. And remember, you have to make your will in a sane mind. You can't be high on drugs or you can't be out of your mind when you do it. That's why one of the first things when you do your will is that you are doing it voluntarily, you are doing it while you are sane, while you are okay. You can obviously be doing it on your deathbed, but it means that mentally you must be able to understand what you are deposing to, what you are putting down as your will. And you can change your will whenever you want. Believe me, I've done it every time I have a fight with my husband. He's not hearing this, okay? But yes, I have. I've changed it very often. So yes, you can. And it's easier if you have a will where your assets are detached from the will itself, because your assets remain the same. When you're going to have a will where you're going to specify this item must be given to that person, or sorry about that. Every time you change, or even if you sell assets, you're going to have to change your will if you include it in the will. Whereas if you have an addendum, it also makes financial sense, because remember, you pay estate duty. An estate above 3.5 million rand, you're going to pay estate duty. And it works on a sliding scale, which means the greater your estate, the more your tax. You know, they tax you in death also. So just be cautious of that. And if you're financially savvy, you can structure your estate in such a way that you don't pay that much of estate duty. As women, very often what happens is you become caregivers, you become homemakers, and you forget that you're actually of value. And unfortunately, when your husband dies, you find very often that you are left without much. And it might be that his family steps in and starts demanding things. So my advice to women is, in your lifetime, if you are with your husband, if you are contributing to his business, demand a salary, expect to be paid, value yourself. As Rumbi said, value who you are. Don't take it for granted. Yes, we are nurturers, we are mothers, we are homemakers, but we are of value. It is because of us that our husbands can go out there and make the money. Demand to be paid. Make sure you build an estate for yourself. Make sure that if anything happens during your lifetime, make sure that when he acquires assets, you make sure that you be part of that, of those assets. Don't think, it's a permanent thing. Nothing in life is permanent. The only thing that's for sure is that you're going to die one day. So I know it's not a very happy topic to be talking about, but it's important for us to be prepared and to make sure that we have our ducks in a row, and we know that if anything happens to us, our estate is going to be attended to fairly, equitably, and how we want it to be. But please don't dictate from the grave. Thank you so much. And I see V has, yes, especially in our culture too, we have polygamous marriages. And you find that sometimes the first wife will say it's hers, and the second, poor third, fourth wife is left without anything, or the children of this wife is considered not eligible. So it's important for you to make sure that as a woman, please protect yourself, secure yourself, know that you are worthy of it. So please do that. And if there's any questions, you can get my details from Mercy, and I'd be more than willing to assist you and advise you with regards to your assets and your estate. Thanks, Mercy. Komotso, thank you.
Thank you so much, Hafsa. Everyone, I apologize for the glitch earlier. However, our last speaker was Hafsa Baker Karim, and I owe her a small bio introduction. And she is a remarkable woman who is an attorney, an entrepreneur, a life coach, a GBV ambassador. She sits on various boards and is a chairperson of the Laudium Women's Network, Pretoria Women United, and co-founder of the Guidance Social Services. This is a woman who plays a significant role in the lives of other women as well. Her support structure, her efforts in assuring that women have the support that they need, as well as what she has presented to us at the just a few minutes ago, which I believe will be very valuable to some of us that had no information about what she had just presented to us in terms of your wills, divorce, and such and such. So then now I will open the floor for questions, remarks, or comments that any of you guys might have for our speakers today.
Hi, Komotso, how are you?
Hi, Lerato, I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. I guess I just have a comment on what Hafsa just spoke about right now. I guess it raised something in my mind. It just, reminded me on something about the topic of the whole getting married in community of property or prenup, and just I think there's more conversation that needs to be taken around those. I know this is unrelated or not like closely related, but it just made me think about, how important it is for us to, just talk about the pros and cons and just the benefits, both negative and positive, of getting married in community of property and so forth. So I really did enjoy this. I myself I'm very young, and I don't think I'm at this stage where I'm already thinking about wills and whatever, but this was very informative. And yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And you're never too young, believe me, you're never too young to have a will. Please make sure that you have your will in order. And I think one of the sessions we'll do is we'll do the different marriages in community, out of community, in a future session.
That will be lovely. I believe a lot of people would gain much more from that, considering that a lot of people actually have been dealing with difficulties of being in married in community of property. There's a lot at stake, and we need people as yourself to help us through understanding each sectors of those particular situations and how to deal with them. Does anyone else have a question? You can post your questions also on the chat. if you're not comfortable to speak. Does anyone else have anything to say?
Sorry, I have a question for V. Yeah.
Yes, Lerato.
So it's around her experience with eczema, and I just want to ask, if V, do you have children, and if you do, how difficult was it for you to manage the whole depression that you said you went through, and at the very same time you have children that that needs your emotional attention? How did you navigate through that in life? And just share with us how the experience was in that, in at that time.
Okay. Hi, Lerato, right? Okay, yeah, I've got children, 4 of them. Yeah, and eczema and pregnancy, those two, they are not friends at all. Because I think I've been pregnant 3 times, and the first 2 were terrible. They were like really bad. I had to be bedridden. So, but as I said, I had a good support system, and my family was there for me, like through it all. So, like with the twins, my first pregnancy was twins. I remember I got pregnant soon after my wedding, so it it brought there was a lot of medical jargon going on, because the medication that I was on before getting pregnant was steroids type of medication, and as we all know, steroids are pretty addictive, and also they've got very crazy side effects. So one of the side effects was maybe I wouldn't be able to get pregnant, and then now I get pregnant, and now this pregnancy was like a pretty high risk. So one of the funny things I always tell is even on that pregnancy, I even grew balls. It's funny, but it was a crazy one. But I just want to thank God that I remember that time my mom was missing in action, but she was like there in terms of she would call every day. But I was with my sister and my husband. They were the ones who saw everything, but it was scary and crazy at the same time. And then we were also trying not to make those who were not around to panic. So what we did was we went to the doctor all the time, and then the doctor, I ended up being unable to go for doctor visits. So my family arranged for me to get the doctor to come to my house. But as you're saying, eczema with pregnancy and kids has been quite an emotional roller coaster, because I wanted to breastfeed my babies, of which I did. But then, my breast, because of the eczema, they got cracked and all that. So it was painful. And I was also afraid that, one thing that I was really afraid of was, what if I give birth to babies with eczema also? That was my worst fear. But God being God, all my babies don't have eczema at all. They've got beautiful skin. Messi has met them. Ruby has met them. When you see them, you think I'm lying if I tell you those are my babies. That's actually one thing that kills me, that makes me wake up these days, because I've got these beautiful beings that came out of me with this skin, but still I managed to, I don't know how it happened, but it happened that God gave me beautiful babies that I could breastfeed. And I remember with the twins, I couldn't breastfeed them for the first week, because my breasts were really acting up crazy, and also the eczema flared like really crazy. I think I just have one picture of that time, because I also, as I was growing up, I hated cameras. So I don't have many pictures of myself as I was growing up. I used to dodge and dive when it came to camera time. And even I think when I was on Uplift the Sister the other time, I was telling Angie of how I got to be able to avoid mirrors. I used to avoid looking in the mirror a lot. So up to now, I even have if I don't feel good on my skin, I even have a skill of how to avoid looking into a mirror. So, but having children now, you know, I think now I've accepted it. My one prayer was always, God, if anything, can this eczema go away before I have kids, or if I have kids, can it go away before they understand what's going on with me? But I think God has had other plans, because I used to really say, because I met so many testimonies of how people had eczema, and then after they are giving birth, then their skin became normal and all that. So I was hoping I'd be one of those, of which I wasn't. So it really got to me at some point where, God, you say, I was told at 6 it would go away, or at 13 it would go away, or at 18. Okay, fine, it didn't go away. But now I'm a mother. Why is it not going away? It did take a toll on me. I had times when I would actually just look at my babies, you know. I think that postnatal depression, at times it would get to me. But as I said, I had a lot of support. Like my sister, she's actually literally the mother for the twins, because she was there during the pregnancy, and then afterwards, when I couldn't lactate, she would make sure that she breastfed, she gave them the bottles, she bathed them and all that. And also, you know, my hands were cracked and all that. So it was just a whole thing. So, but somehow I managed, because when I eventually moved from home back to my own house, I managed to do that, look after my own kids. And now they are 4. I've actually had a pregnancy where, like this COVID pregnancy, the last one, I was alone, and I sailed through it, and I did, and somehow, you know, for the first time I didn't have a flare up. It was a smooth journey, and even when the baby came, I was also alone in the delivery room, but it was a smooth journey. But you know, being a mom with eczema, it's hard, because there are days when you wake up and you are itchy, but you need to get things done. So one thing I know I'm good is I'm a slave driver. Please don't report me to the child authorities. I've taught my kids, I taught them from a young age to understand that mommy at times cannot do much. So especially the twins, they do help me a lot. They help around the house and all that. And then you know, you somehow because women, we are natural multitaskers. Somehow between the scratching and the looking after your skin, you can look after your babies and still cook and get the house rolling. Even when people come to my house, it just looks like any normal woman's house, because I've learned to sail above my adversities. I've learned to build a good bridge, or build something out of the stones that life has thrown at me. And one thing I love about my babies is they love me for me. You know, even when I go to their school, they even run, you know. When I was like, with this skin, what I embarrass them when I go to school. But you know, when I go there, they are best cheerleader when they are running. They know that mommy's there, they will run, mommy. So even at school, they don't, okay, yes, but that's their mom, and that's what it is. But thank you so much for the question, Lerato. I was hoping somebody would ask something like that. So that's how it is. It's been, yeah. I think Spanish like to show a picture. Yeah, that's me with my son when I gave birth to my firstborn. It was really bad. So it's one of my. I hate that picture. I don't like it. This one. That's me with my son when the eczema was bad. And I also did DVA. Yeah, that's the one thing with eczema. Your head tends to fall off. It's almost like a cancer, you know. It's one of those. But I'm here. If you see me, if I don't tell you that I don't have eczema on a good day, you don't see it. And you know, and I've learned, like I said earlier, I've learned to love myself without makeup. I'm made up beautifully already. The Bible tells me that I'm wonderfully and fearfully made. So that's me. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, V. It takes courage to share that kind of information with us. And I believe that Lerato was able to hear from you directly and you were able to answer her question. And she says here that she loves where you are emotionally right now, which shows that you have furtherly developed your self-esteem and you're comfortable in your own skin at the moment. Thank you so much. Somebody else had their hand raised. I believe it was Angie. Angie, the platform is yours. You can ask or comment on whatever that you want to comment on.
Thank you, Komoto. I just wanted to comment and say thank you to the ladies that present today. I see a lot of strong women who have, grown and taken the experiences and owned them to make them work for us. I mean, I've had the pleasure of interviewing V already about her story, and I commend and I feel honored to just be among such strong women who take experiences, like a gift, because most of us as women, we tend to be in victim mode. We tend to live in the past. We tend to forget that we've got power within us. And Rumbi especially managed to tell us exactly how she took back her power. And as a divorced woman myself, it's just been a year and a half, and I totally resonate with what she was saying. And I have taken notes already that, I don't have to be defined by the D word, and I don't have to define other women. I have to stop being judgmental to other women and help them, help cheer them on with whatever circumstance they're in, because you never know when it happens to you. And because we love each other and we are strong and we fight for each other, it means that whatever situation the next sister is experiencing, we also, it will affect us directly or indirectly somehow in life, and we just need to not ignore all of that. And so, I mean, Hafsa came with something that enlightened me as well. Like, even as I was married, I never thought to draw up a will. I never had children, but it's something that I never thought of. And it's so empowering to just have the kind of information to take on in life, and that women are coming together and doing that. So thank you, ladies, for organizing such a powerful event for us to learn and to grow. And I hope that we continue to uplift the sister and cheer each other on in our different, unique journeys.
Thank you so much for your comment, Angie. That was very fruitful, and I believe our speakers are glad to hear that they have made a significant in your life as well as many others. Next up, I believe Mercy had her hand raised. Mercy, you may comment or ask a question.
Thanks so much, Komoto. And thank you everyone who has tuned in, and thank you also for our speakers. Yeah, I just want to comment on each and everyone. If I've got a question, I think I'll throw it at the end. But from our first speaker, V, thank you so much. That was so encouraging. Oh, our first speaker was not V, it was Rumbidzai. Thank you so much for that topic which you shared with us. It's very encouraging, because most of us women, we feel that we should listen to society on the definitions or the names which they tag us. Whereas inside, deep down, we may know that we are not like that, but we become overpowered by that. I'm so glad that you got up, dusted off whatever, and you moved on, and now you are a modern hero. You are a model to somebody who can look up to you to say, yes, I can do it. If Shirumbi did it, therefore I can also do it. It doesn't matter what circumstances were, but by the end of the day, you still have to rise up. Life goes on. People are not interested with whatever happened. People want to see you rising up and doing whatever you have to. You've got children as well, who look up to you to say, mommy, 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 and I'm sure they wouldn't want to see you in tears all the time. They want you to be somewhere and somebody. And coming to V, your story is always touching. I'm a living testimony. I've seen your babas. They are so cute, so beautiful, and you must be proud of yourself. You rose above that, and you brought to this world beautiful little ones, which I don't know where to start from. They're so cute. Against all your fears, against all odds, but you know God is great, and we thank God that you are here. Like what Relato said, that she likes where you are emotionally today. If you are able to share that, it means you have dusted off, you have wiped off the chairs, and now you are on the road, ready to roll and impart others. I'm looking forward to the doctor in the making. I can't wait to see her. I'm all here. You know, I'm a big fan. So I'm here to support the doctor. I don't know which field it's gonna be. I hope I'll be able to consult one day. That is all what I'm looking forward to. And for Hafsa, you're awesome. You know, most of us, we what is the correct word? Illiterate in most of the things which happen. And some things, when they're happening, we are those who are always quick to judge without having correct information. So today you actually, though it's not full like the others have said, I think we need another session where you can unpack. There is a lot which you need to unpack, because like what Angie was saying, that she was married, divorced, but she never had that opportunity, that information then, that since she was a housewife, she was doing whatever, and she just walked out like that, and all that, and other things which we may not know. And she's not alone. There are a lot of women out there also who have gone through such kind of experiences. I've quite a number of friends. When you started speaking, I remember some of the friends. The other one even started the park with the kids after the husband died, because she was chased out of the house, everything was taken away, and oh, blah, 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 blah. So now when you started sharing, it really got into me, because I've got practical experiences of some of my friends who went through such experiences. So I think we still need to have more sessions where you can unpack more on such testaments and wills and what have you in your position as an attorney. I think you've got a lot to share, empower each and every woman out there to have the correct information, because sometimes we are misled, but we really need to understand, especially when it comes to those wills. We have heard a lot of stories whereby signatures were forged. I was so glad to hear that it cannot be signed in separate instances. It has to be signed, co-signed. So those are some of the things which we overlook, which we don't know. So I'm glad that you are here today to share, and also to empower and encourage even the young women out there who are growing up to know exactly what is in it for them, if they are involved in such kind of relationships, or if they just want a journey. I'm sure you are able to also counsel them, looking at the boards which you sit on. I know you've got quite a lot which you can impart other women on here and out there in the world. So to all of you, our speakers today, and to our beautiful hostess, thank you so much for the opportunity. Over to you.
Thank you so much. We are very much honored that we've had such remarkable women join us today as our guest speakers. Special thanks to to Rumbi, as well as Hafsa. Thank you very much for joining us today, as well as our founder, the founder of School of Empowerment, Spencer. Special thanks to you for making this event happen. Individuals, our colleagues such as Mercy, Lerato, Amos, thank you so much for your contribution towards this event, as well as our beautiful audience that are external audience. This event wouldn't have been as fruitful without you guys gracing us with your presence today. So therefore, it is my greatest gratitude that I thank everybody that has joined us today. I believe we take home today very fruitful insights and notes from these remarkable women in terms of how to deal with difficulties that you face as a woman, how to carry yourself as a woman, beyond the negative narratives that are defined by the society, but how to do that as an empowered woman who knows her truth, an empowered woman who is educated and well-informed and is of great value, which I believe is very important to know as women, that we are very much valuable, regardless of how we look, our weight, which is the biggest factor as well, our skin tone, our skin, in terms of how smooth or rough or rusty it gets. Really, any person is who they really are because of how they have been created by the Almighty. And these differences aren't meant to be things that people bring us down with, but they're meant to be things that we use to embrace ourselves furthermore. So then, thank you so much for joining us. That would be the end note. If anyone doesn't have any other questions, this would be the end of our discussion today. And I believe if you have any questions, apart from today, then you can furtherly ask for details to be shared with you, with whomever you would want to speak to. Our guest speakers, V, Rumbi, as well as Hafsa, will be more than happy to provide you with the details. Thank you, and have a good afternoon. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the last days of Women's Month. Hip, hip.
Thank you, Mercy. Thank you, Komoto. Cheers, everybody.
Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you.